Hello, is the mic working
Oh,
now?
hi, I can hear you.
There
Hi.
we go, that's much better.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty
Good.
busy with
Good.
exams, but
Of course, yes.
made
Good.
some time, so this is it's alright.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Right. Okay. So
So, what did you
now
want to
I've
do?
now I've committed to this.
Yeah.
I'm really uh I've made very little progress in getting through to Sun and Moon. I've just really sort of started getting the tools to make teams.
Okay.
I show down very little.
Right.
Um, Almost nothing. And I just really wanted. I mean, my main thing is I'm very time poor as well. I've got children. I've got another one on the way. They're arriving quite soon.
Nice.
So I'm going to play one tournament this year. I'm going to play Birmingham,
Okay.
and I'd like to do better in it than I did last year.
How did you do last year?
I went. It was my first one. I went 3-4.
Not bad for a first
Uh,
one.
it was surprisingly good. I won my first game. I beat someone who would have. Well, I knew they went to Worlds eventually, but it was like he said if he won any sort of CP at Birmingham, he was going to go to Worlds, and I knocked him out, and he was quite huffy.
Do you
And
remember what the name
it was
was?
sorry.
Do you remember what the name was of the person?
I do. He was one of the Birch twins. I don't
Ah,
like to name.
okay. Yeah, no,
I don't
I know
like.
who you're talking about. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Um, and I just had a crazy team. I had a Meowstic with Swagger. Um, I had a strange dream about a week before where I took a Primeape, and I thought if I don't take Primeape, I'm going to regret it. 'Cause what if Primeape is the play?
Primeape it actually has a use.
No,
Dismantle, like
it
with
really,
Defiant, it's
yeah.
actually usable.
I mean, I had to go find out what it was, and it was sort of Defiant Choice Scarf and Ice Punch back then.
Yeah,
And
it doesn't get Ice Punch this year,
it doesn't get
but
Ice Punch now, no. But it
no.
raised a few eyebrows at the time. It did.
Yeah,
And it was fun. I've kind of lost track, so I'm really bad at just going off the topic.
that's fine.
Um, okay. So I mean, my starting point is, I guess, is I'd like to make a team.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yes,
Do you have any
sort of.
idea where you want to start? Do you want to start with Primeape, or do you want to start with something a little bit more standard?
I don't think Primeape is for me this year. I don't know. I mean, I got. I mean, on cart, I got a nice Nihilego, if that's how you say it. I'm not
I
sure.
think it's Nihilego because it's supposed to be like
Nihilego.
nihilism, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I thought,
Yeah,
and maybe ego as well.
yeah, exactly.
So I thought I'd start with that. I mean, I've only been doing Battle Tree so far,
Okay,
just to try and pick up the items. And I've got a nicely IVDV Nihilego and what's it called, a Persian.
oh yeah,
I thought I'd try Persian now, especially now that in preparation for parting shot might be an interesting tech.
I think we should start with Persian because that's very underexplored and
Okay.
usable now that parting shot is the thing. So
Yeah.
there's two ways
So
that I would go with Persian.
okay.
Because with fur coat, you've got double defense, and that
Yeah.
actually makes you reasonably bulky. Can you see my screen? Because I just started sharing.
Right. How do I? Sorry. How do I see that?
There should just be accept. Because I should be sharing my screen now.
On Skype.
Yeah, on Skype.
Okay. Hold on. The icons attached. Oh, I can see a screen. Yeah. Yeah. I can. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So should have a Persian up.
Yes.
Yes, there's two ways that I would go with Persian. Because you've got double defense with your fur coat, then you can actually be reasonably bulky with an assault vest. Because then you basically have double defense, so you've got 160 defense, and then you can also have a lot of special defense with the assault vest as well. I haven't actually done many calcs with Persian, but that's just an idea.
No.
The other idea would be the Darkinium Z, because then with Parting Shot. Do you know what Z Parting Shot does, or C Parting Shot? So British. Yeah,
Z Parting Shot.
Yeah.
Oh, it raises your. It raises a stat. I can't remember.
It doesn't. It's the Pokemon that you switch in regains all its health.
Of course, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
And then you also give the opposing Pokemon -1 attack and special attack. So those are the two Persians that I would say are usable. I don't think there would be anything else. Like, we can just have a look at some of the moves, but I guess Nasty Plot Technician. No, you've only got 75 special attack, so that's probably not worth it.
I mean, I saw it more as a disruptor.
Oh, it's definitely a disruptor. Yeah, you wouldn't want it to be doing loads of damage. The only real way of doing damage would be foul play with Persian, because unless you invest a lot more, then like Dark Pulse or Night Slash wouldn't really be worth it, and I don't think there's any point having a non-dark attacking move, because it would be too weak otherwise.
I ripped my EV spread off Trainer Tower, and what they do is they run Darknium Z with the Pulse one, Dark Pulse.
With Dark Pulse, okay, that's interesting.
And they run it so you can knock out a minimally invested Marowak.
Right. Okay.
But you know,
I'm gonna have a look
that's
at that
right, in lieu of a better idea.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I would assume that foul play or Dark Z foul play should get a Marowak as well, because then it should be turning into a 90 base or 95 base move into how much to go to 175. Yeah. So, oh wow, but that does not get a Marowak, and yeah, Dark Pulse does. That's quite surprising.
Okay.
Although that is timid. Hold on. Yeah, you can get a Marowak with Z foul play, but you would have to have max attack yourself, and then that makes no sense with foul play. So
no.
I guess Dark Pulse would make sense if you want to get the Black Hole Eclipse off, but yeah. So
I mean, if you don't use the Parting Shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say that those two would be the options for attacking. You 100% want Fake Out, because that's one of the main reasons to use Persian. Because basically, if a Pokemon can learn Fake Out, you should have Fake Out with it, because Fake Out is a fantastic move.
Is he the fastest in this?
No, only Weavile is faster.
Oh yeah, Weavile.
Yeah. Oh, and after Banks, Salazzle will be as well, because Salazzle is 117. Yeah. So yeah, Salazzle will outspeed Persian.
Okay. Oh. Okay.
So, yeah,
it's funny how Salazzle's suddenly going to become a thing, isn't it? I think straight away.
As soon as it gets Fake Out, Salazzle will become a thing.
Such an anti-fairy.
Yeah.
Anyway.
There's like, I think there's about 7 or 8 things I've seen that post-bank will become viable. So that'll be interesting to see. So basically, you've got these 3 moves, and then you've got a choice of quite a few supporting moves. Ones I would look out for would be Roar for stopping Trick Rooms, Taunt for like general disruption. U-turn possibly as well as another attacking move, but not as an attacking move. But I guess no, that doesn't make any sense with Parting Shot. You wouldn't need U-turn. Charm as well. That's basically just burning the opponents, but you can do it more than once. And it's 100% accurate. Will-O-Wisp isn't. Feint is also a possible move to get through Protects, but I would say that's more an Assault Vest Persian kind of attack. And anything else?
I've always liked running Feint alongside Fake Out, because people see a Fake Outer and then sort of automatically protect a lot of the time, and then you can Feint and get them. Is that something?
Yes, that was definitely a thing. That's probably not so much this year with Weavile. It was definitely with Weavile before, but this year you don't really have space for Feint, because Weavile is one of the few Icy Wind users, and you would have Icy Wind over Feint. But like that's what I would say would be a moveset for an Assault Vest version.
Right.
But if we're going for the Darkinium Z, then we can go with I would say either Roar, Taunt, or Charm would be main ones. I guess Snarl as well. But then you've still got Parting Shot, and that does the same as Snarl, but just one to one target. But also switches out and doesn't do damage,
Attack.
but it does do attack as well.
Yeah.
But then again, actually, like it's Snarl and Charm both do the same thing. You like Charm would get -2, but Parting Shot gets -1, but you switch out.
Hmm. I mean that's one thing when I was running it. I'd running it alongside, with the battle tree. You don't get team preview. You just start with 2 at the front. And I started off running Charm with Charm on my version with my Nihilego because it's got a high special defense and a very low defense.
Yeah.
So by lowering those, anyway, I'm talking about the battle tree and not.
No, that doesn't make sense. Like, I don't know.
It makes sense, but it's more situational.
Or how can you make Nihilego survive any moves that it shouldn't? I wouldn't expect it to be able to survive any Earthquakes from Garchomp.
No, likely.
Like, just at -2. Okay, with 252 defense and then a -2 Garchomp doesn't actually kill your Nihilego with Earthquake. That's quite funny. But that's very unlikely. I would say, because you're going to be Parting Shot otherwise, either Roar or Taunt, and Taunt is probably objectively better, even though that's not my personal preference.
No.
But yeah, so Persian would be the starting point. So with Fake Out, I would say that you want some kind of other setup as well, especially with Parting Shot as well, and I would say probably bulky setup. What I mean by that is like where you're raising your defenses as well as your attacks, so like Calm Mind and Curse. Because then with Parting Shot and Fake Out, you can Fake Out and set up, and then next turn you can Parting Shot, and then they just won't be able to kill your setup mon. So there's 2 main Curse users. There are Snorlax and there's Muck. But then you've already got a Dark type, so we probably wouldn't want Muck. And other things would be like Calm Mind users, and the main one is Tapu Fini.
Okay.
So those are the 2 I would, well, maybe have both, but at least one of them I would say would be your next point call for going from Persian. Which one would you prefer, Snorlax or Fini, or both?
My heart says Snorlax.
Yeah, cool. Let's go with Snorlax.
Yeah.
Because Snorlax is also a very good anti-Trick Room Pokemon as well. So
yes.
you definitely want Curse. Like, you can go Belly Drum as well, but that sacrifices a lot of your health. Well, it doesn't sacrifice anything, but if you have the Figgy Berry and you do it from full health, but Curse makes you stick around for a lot longer, and this is by far the best Snorlax set.
And you can almost always Curse. There's a lot of situations where
Snorlax is so bulky that you can definitely Curse. Unless there's literally a physical fighting type on their side of the field, you can get a Curse up. It's very bulky, especially with the support that Persian will give. But yeah, the other option that I've seen, Facade was actually the one that won the regional, but Return is a lot stronger if you don't get burned. And even if you do get burned, then you can just Curse to +6, and then you're still doing a lot of damage.
Yes.
So, but that is definitely the best Snorlax set. It just depends. Like, if you have a Fini on your team, I would definitely go Return. If you don't have a Fini on your team, then Facade is potentially better, depending on how likely you are to get burned. But that's something to come back to after you built more of the team. So we could go with Fini as well, just so that we don't have to run Facade, and we've got that other Calm Mind set up.
Well, I mean, if that's going to be the sort of the dynamic of the team, I think a choice of setters would be great.
Yeah, I would definitely go bulky with setup, like because Persian, the Fake Out is nice, and pairing with Fake Out with setup is always good.
Yeah.
So I think Calm Mind makes a lot of sense.
My slight resistance to Fini is I know that I've got one in the game, and it's a bulky nature. I can't remember which one exactly, but I mean it's quite versatile on what nature you can run on it. But I have to level 100 it, and I'm just not looking forward to that.
Okay. Well, we can have a look at something else. Like, what else burns Calm Mind?
No, I'd like to try Fini.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So go with the Calm Mind one. You definitely want Moonblast.
Yeah.
And then the best move on the Calm Mindset is Muddy Water, even
Muddy
though
Water.
I really don't like the move Muddy Water. Because 85% accuracy, if you played 16, then you know how bad a spread 85% accurate move is.
Yeah.
But
I
accuracy drops are also nice.
in 15, I ran a Muddy Water Licky Licky as well.
Oh, wow. Really looking for those drops, because that probably wasn't doing much damage.
No. Did it have Assault Vest or Life Orb? I can't remember.
I didn't even know it.
So I think it was Assault Vest, and I think it was its 4th move.
Oh wow, it does learn Muddy Water.
The egg move.
Yeah, that's crazy. But
it was.
Yeah,
there's.
You could if you don't like Muddy Water, which I don't, but I still wouldn't do this. The other option for Tapu Fini would be Scald and then Dazzling Gleam. They are both weaker though, because Dazzling Gleam is weaker than Muddy Water and doesn't get the accuracy drops, and Scald is weaker than Moonblast. And you also don't get to Moonblast a Garchomp, because a +1 Moonblast KOs Garchomp and a +1 Dazzling Gleam won't. So this one is objectively better, even though Muddy Water is a terrible move.
Okay.
So it's basically like, if you hate Muddy Water, then go with that one, but that's better. And also the best item on Fini is definitely Leftovers as well. You can go with one of the Super Berries, but I think Leftovers, because Fini does tend to stay on the field a lot, then Leftovers is better, especially if you start getting up the Calm Minds. So would you go with the Muddy Water or with the Dazzling Gleam?
I think I'd go with the Muddy Water. Okay. I mean, I know it's not a nice move to use, but it's you can always take.
Like it's bad from both sides, because
it
misses
I
and
think
the
it's worse
drops.
on the other side. It's worse to get hit by it than it is to use it. So
yeah, but it's in your favour, because like 15% chance to miss against 30% chance to lower accuracy. So,
yes.
Yeah. So moving on from the team, if you like, I tend to always try and get a Fire, Water, and Grass type onto the team, because I think that's a really good core, and it's one of my favourite cores. And there's 2 cores that I go for, either Fire, Water, Grass, or Fantasy, which is Steel, Fairy, Dragon.
Okay.
So you've got a Water and a Fairy, so you could either go with a Fire, Grass, or a Dragon Steel. You could potentially get both if you have dual types, but you can probably only get one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is the point in team building where I think we have to consider Kartana.
Yeah, that one makes sense, because then you got Grass Steel, because then you're just missing Fire and Dragon.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to use. I meant to get to beat.
Oh, to beat Kartana. That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to have a checked Kartana.
Then you probably want a Fire type. There is not many to choose from, though. This is what you've got.
Okay.
Like, the only real usable ones are Arcanine, Marowak, Talonflame, but I don't think Talonflame really suits this team.
No.
Incineroar would as well, but you've already got Persian, so that wouldn't make sense having both. You could potentially have Salazzle, but that's still very frail.
Probably have Salazzle, yeah. In a week or 2.
Yeah, so I would say the only real ones that you should use are Arcanine and Marowak.
Okay.
So it'd be a choice of one of them.
I mean, Arcanine's more versatile.
It is, yeah.
And it weights him up. So that depends on the grass, maybe.
Yeah. Well, Arcanine also has like the best ability in the game, because Intimidate with all your setup as well will be very strong. So I think Arcanine does make sense. Like we're starting to go into a very common core, because Arcanine, Fini, Kartana is actually probably the most used core at the moment.
Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong with that as a starting point, especially because you've got like different things like Persian.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It's got its own little signature tech to it. So,
yeah.
So that would.
Yeah. So we don't necessarily need Kartana at the moment, but that is the most logical next step, but not necessarily the best.
No.
But it depends what Arcanine you want as well, because Arcanine is also very versatile. You can run it very bulky with one of the Super Berries, and then you just have Flamethrower, Snarl, and Will-O-Wisp. but Will-O-Wisp doesn't really make sense on the Tapu Fini teams, because then you can't Will-O-Wisp opposing Pokemon. So I don't know, like, without Will-O-Wisp on a bulky set, I don't know how good that is, because I haven't actually tried it yet. But there's also the physical ones, so you can have the Firenium Zeds or Firenium Z, and then you do a lot of damage with Flare Blitz. But then you do also have 2 Z crystals, and I don't know how good that is. Like, I've seen dual Z crystal teams, and they're fine, but I don't know how often they would cross over. Because you can also have something like a Life Orb, and then you still do a lot of damage. Not as much as you would do in one shot with the Inferno Overdrive, but still a lot. And then with the more offensive one, you would want Wild Charge and Extreme Speed. So those would be the moves. So Snarl probably, like, you could potentially have something like Morning Sun. Where's Morning Sun? Or is that actually in? That's up there. Yeah, Morning Sun, and then you can either have like Extreme Speed, Protect, Roar. They're very common. Helping Hand is also good, but I don't think it's that good on your bulky team.
No.
I don't think that would make much sense. But yeah, like you need to decide whether you go offensive with Arcanine or very defensive, and you're already very defensive, so Arcanine would definitely help to that, help with like the defensive stuff. But I don't know how, because then you're limiting your damage if you don't set up.
Yes. You can't 100% rely on setup.
No.
Okay. Is there any room for it? I know we're looking for like the fifth and sixth pieces, but is there any room for a Nihilego on it? I really like it.
I would say so. Like, because without, yeah, you still got one more slot.
Yeah.
So, with what you've got at the moment, is there anything you're particularly weak to? If you do have the Nihilego, then you kind of still need an even better answer to Kartana, because everything you have at the moment underspeeds Kartana.
All right. Okay.
Like, you could have your own and just risk the speed ties, but
well,
and I guess
you don't
you do have like fake outs and then parting shots, and then your own Arcanine. And if you give Nihilego the Focus Sash, then that makes it a lot less weak to Kartana. Although the 2 moves that you should always have on Nihilego are Power Gem and Sludge Bomb, and both of them do nothing to Kartana.
And the third one's probably HP Ice.
HP Ice is the most common, because then the niche of Nihilego is it outspeeds Garchomp by 1 point, and then it OHKOs it with HP Ice. So that's its main niche. Like, it's also got the very powerful hits, like it hits Arcanine very hard, which not much does, and it hits the Tapus as well with Sludge Bomb. So it is a good Pokemon. It's just you do underspeed Kartana, and at the moment you are fairly weak to Kartana.
Hmm.
You've got to probably look at something else. Like, you don't have any speed control on here either.
I was just thinking, I don't have any speed control on here.
Yeah, speed control, like, in this bulky format, it's not completely necessary, but I always like having it. The main ones would be Trick Room or Tailwind, and I think your team is a lot slower, so Trick Room would make sense.
Okay. Okay. So our Trick Room sets this year. We've got
we got these.
We've got the monkey thing.
Oranguru. Where's that?
Oranguru. I know he was popular at the start, wasn't he? He was, sort of dropped.
Yeah. Well, like, everyone's figured out Oranguru's Hawk stuff now, so.
Yeah. I mean, I like him aesthetically. How does Instruct? How does Instruct work? I've only ever seen it with spread moves. How does it work on single target?
With single target moves, it makes you target the same Pokemon with that single target move. So if you returned into something and then instructed the return, then you would return the same slot again. Unless it was if it was KO'd by the first return, it would go into the second one.
Okay.
But it would target the same thing. That's why Instruct is almost always used with spread moves. But the main Trick Room Sensei is obviously Porygon 2. But then you do have 2 normal types, and it's
Yeah.
usually better to have different types all over. And
I think
2 normals doesn't really add anything to your team.
no, of course it doesn't. No.
What's some of the other ones? Could look for some niche ones. Well, actually, another Trick Room setter is actually Nihilego.
I didn't realize.
Yeah, no, it gets Trick Room. It's very fast, so I don't know how usable Trick Room would be on it, but it would be a very surprise Trick Room, and then these potentially some Pokemon would start to be usable.
I mean, I think. I mean, I do. You know, I only really play best of 1 currently, and I'm looking to get better at best of 3. And I think having a surprise Trick Room setter might not be.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But...
So the other option here is going Tailwind, because apart from Snorlax, everything else is fast enough for Tailwind, and there is a good Grass type Tailwind user, which is Whimsicott.
Hey,
so then,
I like it.
Yeah, that gives you the Grass Water Fire Core as well. And that gives you Prankster Tailwind, which is really, really good, because it guaranteed Tailwind is really nice.
Okay.
But now so something that would be specific to your team would be you're still pretty weak to Kartana. So what you can do is tech Hidden Power Fire onto your Whimsicott, because it does outspeed Kartana's if you go Timid.
Okay.
Then that's not fast enough. There we go. Yeah, because Kartana hits 177, I believe. So Whimsicott easily outspeeds it. And I'm pretty sure HP Fire would knock out Kartana. Let's have a look. So, you have to do the Assault Vest one. And just a random Hidden Power Fire. Because, like, random Hidden Power Fires tend to be the trend at the moment.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, you would need a Life Orb to get Assault Vest, but it's actually just 100%. So Life Orb Whimsicott with Hidden Power Fire gives you the Oko on Kartana, which is quite interesting.
Okay.
So then with that, you would definitely want other offensive moves as Energy Ball and Moonblast as its 2 stabs. So then that would be your Whimsicott, which is quite interesting.
It's an interesting Whimsicott, certainly. Yeah.
Yeah. Because then with these 2 as well, you've got Trick Room and Tailwind on your team. So then you've got the dual modes, like you can just surprise Trick Room, set up for a Snorlax sweep as you cursed, or you can just get the guaranteed Tailwind, and then all of these outspeed.
Yeah.
The other Pokemon, especially because the Sash was taken on Nihilego. Nihilego usually wants Sash or Life Orb, and with these 2 Pokemon, you would want to have those 2 items between them. So if you had the Focus Sash on Whimsicott, then HP Fire doesn't knock out Assault Vest Kartana, and then Nihilego gets KO'd in 1 shot to a lot of things because of its terrible defense. But with the Focus Sash, Nihilego definitely lives, and also Whimsicott getting KO'd in 1 shot isn't actually a bad thing, especially if you've just set up Tailwind, because then you've got 3 full turns of using a stronger attacker.
That's right.
Then I would say with the team, you would probably want to go with Arcanine being offensive, although you can't really have the Life Orb anymore if Whimsicott has the Life Orb.
Offensive and physical.
Yeah, offensive and physical is much better than offensive and special, because the only real moves it gets is Burn Up and Overheat, and I guess Heat Wave as well as a spread thing, but other special moves don't actually exist, really.
Okay.
You can have a gimmick thing where you have Grassium Z and Solar Beam, and then you get Fire and Grass. But that is kind of a gimmick thing. Although we did see Cybertron just won the it's called the Melbourne Challenge thing with Electrium Z Wild Charge. And that makes sense, because I haven't actually done the calc yet, which I will obviously do right now. I don't know if that actually, it should get a Tapu Fini in 1 shot. I would assume it does. It has the potential to, but it's not actually guaranteed. So, but any chip on the Fini means that Gigavolt Havoc would knock out a Fini. But yeah, I would definitely say go offensive with this Arcanine.
Okay. Okay.
So those moves would make the most sense. It just depends what item you can run now. So I don't know how good offensive, and then I guess like offensive with the berry still makes sense. This was it. This is the main spread that was used on offensive Arcanine.
Right.
Because then that survives a psychic from Tapu Lele. It outspeeds, I think it's Xurkitree, and then just max attack. And then with the berry, that would still give you surviving power, because you are taking recall with both Flare-Bits and Wild Charge. So actually having the berry on an offensive set will probably still make sense, because even with the Fire EMZ, then you only get one good shot with the Fire EMZ, and then you're just left with effectively no items. So having a berry still makes sense, I think. And it does tend to be Aguav on Arcanine, mainly, even though I like a Yapapa a lot better because it sounds cooler. Yeah, so that's 6 Pokemon at the moment, which could work together. Like I like the idea of Trick Room and Tailwind, especially with like because these are kind of mid-speed Pokemon. So,
yeah.
I've got to get some EV spreads for some of the others. Like I can just do standard ones because I know what this seems to be a spread for Snorlax, because this survives Hydro Vortex from Araquanid. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. But then you want min speed as well, because with it after a curse, then you underspeed Torkoals in Trick Room, which is very important. Because if that's like one of your main Trick Room sweepers, then that's exactly what you want. Because if you go any faster, then you wouldn't outspeed it or underspeed it after a curse, because it's -1 speed. So
Yeah.
definitely go min speed. I don't actually have a Persian EV spread yet, and I think there's a Fini spread. Like I don't know.
I've seen a few.
I think it's what's it? This one. This is just what Ricardo from Portugal used to get the 2000s. I think that was what the Fini spread was. That was something like KOing Coco after a Life Orb hit guaranteed with a +1 Moonblast. I think that's what it was. And then it's just a random speed stat. And something, I think maybe it was a Sash Coco Thunderbolt, I think. But Persian I don't actually have an EV spread for yet. So what I will do is I will share my screen on the calculator so you can see me going through the calculations.
Okay.
So you should be able to see the calculator now. Can you see the calculator?
Hold on. Let's get rid of that. Yes.
Cool.
Yes, there it is.
So basically, starting off with calculations, what I start with is either a KO you would want to get or something you would want to survive. But with Persian, like, I guess you've got you still got the choice of Dark Pulse or Foul Play. But the only thing that Dark Pulse would have got was Marowak, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I don't think that was 100%. I think that was like 80%, maybe.
It's 101% on just standard bulk, but a Marowak that's built to survive Psychic from Lele, it's not guaranteed. And you would people should be running at least that special defense if they're running a bulkier Marowak, so it wouldn't be guaranteed unless you go a little bit more. So you could just put 36 special attack EVs, and then you guarantee the KO Marowak with the Black Hollow Eclipse. So that would, if you're going with Dark Pulse, do you think you'll go with Dark Pulse over Foul Play?
I would, yeah.
Because there's another reason why I think you probably should now as well, and that's because you've got Intimidate on your Arcanine. So Foul Play does a lot less if you intimidate opponents.
Yes.
So now you would want to either pick. Yeah, go on.
Does it still have a flinch chance as well, or am I?
Yeah, Dark Pulse is 20% chance to flinch.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, that's something that helps that you can put in your favour. So you probably should go max speed. You definitely want to at least outspeed Kartana's, which is that. But then you want to outspeed Gengar's as well, because you're a Dark type and getting a Dark Pulse off onto it would be nice. So
yeah,
that would be the speed you want to go to. But usually what I do is if I'm that fast and that close to max speed, then you might as well go max speed, because that's only, what, 4 more stat points. And unless there's a specific calculation that changes like wildly defensively, then I would just go max speed, especially because then you can at least speed tie the fake outs with opposing Persians.
Yes.
So I think going max speed is probably more important on the fake out ones, because you want to guarantee at least speed ties when you face mirrors. So something that you would want to survive. So either really fighting types on the physical side or fairy moves on the other. So let's see how much a Tapu Lele does with a Moonblast. Way too much. But let's see. Is that doable? No, probably only with Assault Vest. So what about Tapu Fini? Moonblast. Nope, definitely not. But a non-specs Moonblast is something you can survive. So if we go with what Ricardo's spread was, then we actually need a lot of special defense, and that's too much because we want the max speed, so we can't actually do that.
The calc screen's just gone. Oh no, it's back. Okay.
Cool.
Sorry.
So what's something we can survive on the physical side? How much does a Sacred Sword from Kartana do? Oh, not much at all because of your fur coat. Maybe we can... I wonder how much a Pheromosa does then. Oh, that was not what I wanted to do. Just went... Oh, damn it. Right. I have to redo that because I accidentally pressed back.
Okay.
Pheromosa... Oh, yeah. No, high jump kick is unlikely to be survived. Unless... they're jolly. Like, you can potentially, because if you go a bit more into defense, that's actually reasonable. Yeah. But then
where do we take it out?
You wouldn't be able to go max speed at all. So,
No.
That's one of the main issues. So, but then you can survive a -1 Life Orb Pheromosa. That's looking pretty likely. Yeah, that's doable. So was it 36 max? 18. Looks like it's going to be a roll. You're going to have to accept the roll or sacrifice the special attack for Dark Pulse. Although that is what I was talking about just now. If there's a significant calc, then if we go back to just outspeeding Kartana, then we might actually be able to live this Pheromosa. So, what does that do? That's 12%. That's pretty reasonable. Can we get it to 6% without sacrificing too much?
Okay.
Yes, we can. So, yeah. So, literally what I was just saying about being significant, like taking 30% off from the high jump kick chance of KOing you is actually very significant. Like, an Adamant one would probably still get you, or 56% of the time. But that is, I would say, is worth taking off some of the speed, because Persian is fairly uncommon. And so what was it?
Would it still outspeed Raichu on the fake out?
Yes.
Yes,
yeah.
Okay.
Because that's speed ties with Gengar, and that's 178. So having 179. Yeah. So that was a good thought. You do want to outspeed opposing fake outers. So definitely outspeeding Raichu was the right call. So that was that with 212, 36, 4, and then 36. I believe that was what it was. Yeah. So then that's lets you survive a Pheromosa high jump kick, a Life Orb Jolly 1, if you intimidate it with Arcanine. So I think that's pretty reasonable. And probably not sacrificing the max speed, because the only thing in between this speed and max speed is other Persians. So now you should expect them to be able to fake out first, but that's probably a sacrifice worth making, because Persian isn't actually that common.
No.
I'm just going to rearrange these moves because I'm very OCD about this, even though it makes absolutely no difference. I just have a specific order that I like the moves in.
My fake out always goes to the top, and my protect to the bottom.
Oh,
but that's
no, you do not want fake out at the top. Because,
misclick.
no, it's not misclick, it's if you run out of time. Because,
okay.
yeah, in tournaments, if you run out of time, the game automatically selects your top move, and you do not want fake out as your top move. Because then if Persian's already been out for a turn, then going for fake out is absolutely useless. So you want something at the top that would do something if you ran out of time. And a lot of people put protect at the top, and that probably does make the most sense. But I don't like the look of it, and I put protect at the bottom. That's just like objectively, that's probably worse. Even though I'm really big on optimizations and stuff, having protect at the top does make more sense. It just looks horrible.
Okay.
Like, it probably doesn't look horrible to you or like any other normal people, but it just
it does look horrible to me. I completely understand.
Yeah, no, protect is always at the bottom. Like, I just have a really arbitrary list, like stab moves first, then nod stab moves, then like support attack moves like fake out, and then the stab support moves, and then it goes in alphabetical order if they're in the same category. Like it's absolutely pointless, but yeah. So
if it makes you happy.
Oh yes, it did.
That's the important thing.
Yeah, so like everything is in the right order now.
Okay.
So what we can do is we can just do a couple of games with this, because I think we've got a full team now. Oh yeah, another thing that I just do is just personal preference is also putting the team in alphabetical order.
Okay. Screen share has gone black again.
Okay.
I can't. Yeah.
I can because I think you were still on my calc, so I'll just put it back to. Okay, you should be able to see the team again.
I can't see nothing.
No?
No.
Oh, should be able to. Pretty sure I'm sorry.
No, I can now. I can see the team builder.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so now the team's. That's not right. There we go. Yeah, so we can just do a few matches for this now because we've got a complete team. And I'm pretty sure that my ult is going to be right at the bottom of the ladder. But, okay, yeah, we're right at the bottom of the ladder. We're facing a 4-1 team, so that's not the most competitive. But we can still talk through it. Like, he's got a very slow team with Tailwind potential. So I would say that matching his Tailwind is quite important, because then all your mons would outspeed him normally. Nihilego looks very nice here. I would say that Nihilego Whimsicott would be a fair lead, even though we probably want to do something with Persian, because that was the main point of it.
Well, not in every case. If it's not the situation, it's not.
Yeah, that's true. Although I kind of want to bring it just for the Black Hole Eclipse onto Marowak.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Okay. And maybe Snorlax for muck coverage.
That does make sense.
Okay.
We can go for a Snorlax sweep
A
at the end.
Yeah.
So what would you be thinking this turn?
Okay, so we want to match Tailwinds.
Okay, and what with Nihilego?
So, and what with Nihilego? I think I would power gem the Vikavolt.
Okay, what are your thoughts there?
Well, I mean, with the proviso that I'm not very good at this game.
That's fine. Don't just say your thoughts, and then we can talk through.
Yeah. Well, it's probably I'm not that familiar with Vikavolt, but I know that it's a stab move.
Power Gem is super effective against both of these Pokemon.
Yeah.
So basically...
But if we're matching Tailwinds, we don't really need to worry about Pelipper, and I don't think it's gonna... I think it is gonna Tailwind.
Well, there is another way that we can deny Tailwind, and that is to double into the Pelipper. The only way that would go wrong is if he protects, but then he can't... I don't think he can knock out either of our Pokemon. Maybe a Bug Buzz knocks out Whimsicott. But denying Tailwinds is probably... like, knocking out a Pokemon to deny Tailwinds is better than just matching Tailwinds.
Okay.
Because then Whimsicott was basically doing nothing this turn when we could have been picking up a knockout. And Pelippers are most commonly sashed as well. So doubling into it makes the most sense. And if it isn't sashed, then Probably a Life Orb Energy Ball knocks it out. But if not, then the Power Gem covers it. And because Vikavolt, or is it Vikavolt? I don't know which way around it is. It's supposed to be. But I usually say Vikavolt. That can't knock out either of your Pokemon. So this is a fairly safe turn. And because we're at the bottom of the ladder, he's just going to time out.
Okay.
So he's just going to waste our time now.
Okay.
So we will move on to another match, just because that's probably not the most competitive ones. And we probably won't find that competitive ones at the bottom of the ladder. Because I'm pretty sure I haven't actually done any games yet. Yeah, haven't played any games. But that's a 6-mon team.
Okay.
So we can do something with that. So what would be your thoughts facing this team?
Right, okay. I would want to take Persian.
Why Persian?
Why Persian?
Because I agree with you, but
yeah,
I'm just hoping.
I mean, this is I think this is why I don't consider myself any good as a player.
That's fine. We'll start somewhere.
I've got very muddy thinking.
Well, I'll say my thoughts on why we should bring Persian then, because he's got 2 potential fake out users, and Persian outspeeds them both, so we can stop his fake out. And I don't know how much a Black Hole Eclipse will do to an Oranguru, but it would do a lot. Persian also outspeeds everything, so if he leads with the Ninetales and Kartana, potentially, then we can get a parting shot off onto one of them, because we outspeed.
Alright.
And potentially a Black Hole Eclipse does a lot to Kartanas as well. So Persian is definitely the correct lead. What else would you lead with?
Right.
Well, we'll still talk through what our leads would be, even though he's forfeited.
I think I'd take Tapu Fini
as a lead,
and go for a Calm Mind setup maybe with a fake out.
Okay, that would make sense if he so long as he doesn't need both Togedemaru and Kartana. Because if he led just his Kartana, then you could fake that out and Calm Mind, and then you can parting shot the Kartana as well, and then you should be able to live a Leaf Blade.
Right.
But what I would have probably gone with, Persian and Arcanine as a lead, and then definitely Snorlax in the back, and either Nihilego or Tapu Fini, because he would probably want to go his Trick Room route if he's got an Oranguru.
Yeah.
And although he would see the Snorlax and would potentially be persuaded against that, we could have also gone with Whimsicott because of the surprise HP fire onto Kartana, because that's best of 1 as well. Did we win that match? Oh, that went through. Okay, so yeah. Well, he lost due to inactivity, but see, Thunder didn't KO the Whimsicott, but we did manage to KO the Pelipper with the double target, so we did deny that. Next turn we could just Power Gem because we got a speed boost. Oh, we don't have any EVs in special attack with the Nihilego, so that makes sense. But we would have got a special attack boost with that, and then we would have been able to Oko the Vikavolt with a Power Gem in one shot, and Whimsicott would have been able to basically just Energy Ball whatever came in, even though it wouldn't have done much. You'd have just sacrificed the Whimsicott at that point. But let's try and actually get a full match this time.
Okay.
So hopefully we've gone through just the very bottom that don't do anything. So what are your thoughts here?
Oh, I'm thinking Buzzwole. Sorry.
Yeah. Buzzwole is cool.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not going to outspeed Aerodactyl, am I?
No, Aerodactyl outspeeds everything you've got.
Okay. And I think I'd lead with Persian anyway, because it can fake it out.
Can it though? Because you've got a Tapu Lele facing you down.
Of course, of course.
That's something to keep in mind. Because fake out is a very nice move, but Tapu Lele has kind of killed it, which is a shame. It's
okay.
Wait, you could. Something to note though is you can still fake out Aerodactyl, even if he leads with Lele and Aerodactyl. Because
having Fini back and bringing it. Okay. Oh, of course, yes. I was going to say bringing Fini from the back to the front.
Yeah,
Would
you can fake out all flying types even in terrain.
Okay. Okay. So I'm going to say Persian.
Okay.
I'm going to say Nihilego or Nihilego.
Yep.
And I think in the back,
Well, he's got potential Trick Room with his Porygon
he's
as well.
got potential. He's got potential Trick Room, and I've got my 2 speedies at the front, so I might go slower at the back. So I'd want Snorlax at the back.
Yeah, and if you've got Snorlax, then you need to focus down on this Buzzwole.
Yes.
So you need to take something for the Buzzwole.
Right. My gut feeling is to take Arcanine.
Okay, cool. All 3 of them were actually fine choices.
They were.
All 3 of them can Oko Buzzwole. So he leads with exactly what I said. So,
okay.
So we can fake out this Aerodactyl.
Fake out.
And we can Sludge Bomb this Tapu Lele. He's probably going to be a Scarf Tapu Lele, but like, in best of 1, you never know. So he's going to switch out to Muk, so that's a fair move. But there we go, we were able to fake out the Aerodactyl. But now he can potentially get up his own Tailwind.
Right. Oh, of course, Aerodactyl's a Tailwind set of this
yes.
in 70, isn't it?
Yeah, there's only like, I think it's like 8 to 10 Pokemon that can learn Tailwind. Aerodactyl is one of them.
Okay. I think we should double into it.
Would we need to double into it? Because a Power Gem would Oko the Aerodactyl.
Oh, okay. I'd probably parting shot the Muck, Power Gem the Aerodactyl.
Cool. We could have gone for our own Trick Room with the Nihilego, and that would have given us a lot of momentum. But
yes.
This is fine. What are you going to parting shot into? Arcanine or Snorlax?
I'm feeling Snorlax. I'm worried if he surprises us with a Rock Slide or something. No, okay.
He should be knocking off Nihilego. That's going to be a 3-shot because we lost our item now. So that's interesting. That's good to know. Okay, so what are your thoughts on this turn?
So he's still probably Scarfed. If he didn't protect... no, that doesn't mean anything.
But like, we don't really have any indication of what his item is. And it doesn't matter if he's Scarfed now, because he's in Tailwind, he outspeeds us anyway.
Of course, yes.
So now we need to assume worst case is he's Shattered Psyche.
Okay. So, and he, if he Shattered Psyche, he'd Shattered Psyche on the Snorlax.
That probably won't KO.
Okay. Would it activate its berry, do you think? No, that's a guess.
Yeah, like if you survive a Shattered Psyche, which I would fully expect you to, then it would activate the berry.
Okay. Do you think a return on it might be the best play?
Return would be strong, it wouldn't be strong enough.
Okay. Maybe double into it. It is the threat.
Well, he can knock out your Nihilego with a Psychic.
Yes.
You have a Dark type in the back.
Of course I do. Of course I do. How about we swap the Nihilego in for the Persian?
And what do you want to do with Snorlax? Just return the Lele?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
I'd consider getting up a Curse, but a return should be a 2-shot. Oh, there's the Buzzwole. See, there we go. There's a Psychic into... And that is a 2-shot. That's nice.
Okay.
So now what?
Right. What moves are on the Persian again? Remind me. We got... what was the third move?
Dark Pulse, Fake Out, Parting Shot, and Taunt.
Again, we Fake Out again. If I can live the Shattered Psyche, I think I'd probably Fake Out the Buzzwole.
Can we Fake Out the Buzzwole?
Can we fake out the Buzzwole? We can't fake out the Buzzwole.
Yeah, something to make a note of. We know that the Ledi isn't scarfed because Aerodax's pressure went before its Psychic Surge. So
right,
we know that it's not scarfed. Which means it can now Moonblast our Persian.
Okay.
Because now he can just go for Superpower onto Snorlax.
In that case,
Moonblast
I'd
onto Persian.
consider parting shotting it again and Arcanine then.
What, for the Snorlax? The problem is,
Um,
because if you parting shot, he's just going to straight up Moonblast your Persian and KO it.
no, I mean, if I parting shot the Tapu Lele and bring Arcanine in.
But your Persian will get KO'd to parting shot. So I'm just going to hard switch. Even though parting shot actually ended up being the correct play.
Okay.
Oh wow, that was not what I expected.
No.
Because now we get a curse up and I think we might live a superpower. We will after the Intimidate. So we need to make our moves fairly quickly now. So I'm just going to make some moves so that we don't time out. But yeah, your play was actually better. If you had have parting shotted, then the muck would have been even weaker. Oh, it's a power up punch Buzzwole. That's not good. So that should KO. It doesn't KO. And we do KO ourselves to recoil, so that's interesting. But we still should be fine now. So Nihilego or Persian?
Tailwind's still up, right?
No, it's just gone.
Okay, Nihilego.
Okay, so now we can just high horsepower, which should be a knockout +2 onto the muck, and we can sludge bomb into the Buzzwole, and that will also be a KO. The only way he can stop this now is protecting with either one of his Pokemon. If he protects with the Buzzwole, then he can't knock out the Nihilego, we've already seen without a crit, but we should get a double knockout this turn. Yeah, we don't get poisoned either. We do hit the high horsepower and now the game should be over. Because we have seen that he's not scarfed. Unless he's scarfed and underspeeds Aerodactyl. That is potential. Like, I've seen that and it's used so you can underspeed Tapu Kokos and get your terrain. But then you still outspeed Kartanas and you can hidden power fire them.
Yeah.
So we should be fine now. Because we can just return and Sludge Bomb. Yeah, so something we could have done. So looking back is just, oh, we can't pause this, which is unfortunate. Yeah, because I was fully expecting Tailwind, I thought that a surprise Trick Room from Nihilego would have worked out. Because if we had just straight up parting shotted and Trick Rooms and parting shotted into Snorlax, then we'd have been in a really nice position if he went for Tailwind, which he ended up doing. So because we parting shotted and just power gemmed, that ended up being worse for us because we could have got a lot more momentum with the Trick Room. Because now this because we were playing effectively from behind, everything was outspeeding. We had 3 turns where we were just waiting to get into better positions. We kept having to switch, but we'd have had 4 turns of just complete momentum that we'd have swept with Snorlax. So
yeah,
that was something to improve on looking back. That play, just this one, your parting shot would have actually been better, or the one coming up. But I was fully expecting Moonblast onto Persian because that is a KO, and he was in Tailwind, so have he forgot that it's Fake Out doesn't work in Psychic Terrain. Because if he just superpowered Snorlax, I don't know, like he probably shouldn't have had Rock Slide or Power Up Punch. He should have just superpowered if he had it. But Superpower and Moonblast was definitely his best play. So hard switching into Arcanine made a lot more sense than parting shotting because Moonblast could have KO'd. So
of course. Yeah, I forgot about Tailwind. That cost me games in the past.
Well, like so I always forget about terrains on Showdown because it doesn't really show you terrains. On like cartridge and battle spot, it's bright purple and it's like yellow and it's like we are in the terrains. Look at this, but on Pokemon Showdown, it doesn't really show as much, and I get caught out. But with the Tailwinds, it's easier on Showdown because the info's just there. Although now they've updated it in Sun and Moon.
You've got the bottom screen.
Yeah, you got that new user interface is so much better. Like I absolutely love it.
It is.
Yeah. So that's your team. We managed to win an actual game with it, which is nice. So
right. Thank you ever so much.
That's all right.
Yeah. I'm gonna go build. Have some fun with it.
Cool. I can send you the paste bin of it, so you can.
Yeah, that was my next question.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay. Right. Okay. Thank you very much.
Cool.
I'll let you know how I get. See you next time. Okay,
Bye.